Hello, this is the video of me making cinnamon buns for my coworkers. I just got a Fitbit to track my sleep, and this is exactly why. I have been sleeping terribly. The night before I actually got 8 hours of sleep, and then this night I did not. But I was surprised that it was pretty close to like all of my goals for REM, deep sleep. Well, no, I think I was close to REM. See right there. But all the other ones are like within range, but my score already got calculated, which was interesting. Anyway, got up at 6. That was the time I needed to get up to make these cinnamon buns. It was enough motivation for me to like not feel tired, because everyone at work has been having not the best time. It's been a rough time. I don't know, transitions are happening. And we all agreed that we needed something, and I offered to make cinnamon buns with my sourdough starter, and other coworker friends are bringing plates and silverware and stuff from the Azores and a charcuterie board, so it's gonna be a party. It's gonna be fun. Hopefully it boosts our morale. And I'm very excited for these cinnamon rolls. They were the best batch. I mean, I've only made 2 batches with the sourdough. My other recipe is also really good, but what I would always do was like follow it pretty strictly, and I always thought like, oh, I could use way more cinnamon and more sugar. Definitely way more cinnamon though. And for this one, I mean, I followed the dough. I really thought that I recorded me putting this dough together, like mixing it together. I guess not. I'm trying to remember why. But I'll have the measurements and stuff in the description. And of course, I let it rise on the countertop. It was about exactly 12 hours. Pretty sure I set it up at like, mixed it all up at like 6:30 last night. It was 6 a.m. by the time I got to it. Felt great. The house is pretty cold because it's literally freezing, below freezing. It's double, close to single digits out here. So it's not the warmest environment, but it rose really well. I don't even remember the recipe off the top of my head. I think it's 100 grams of starter, 300 grams of flour, 1 cup of buttermilk, 1 tablespoon of honey, and I feel like there's something else. I did use, a stick of unsalted butter. I grated it, and I don't think I put salt in this actually, even though I did use unsalted butter. Maybe I did. I'm pretty sure it's like 4 or 5 grams of salt. Literally mix it all together very roughly and just covered it with a tea cloth, is that what it's called, for 12 hours. And then everything I'm doing now is what I'm showing you. Just flour the surface. I punched it down, rolled it over a few times. It felt beautiful. Very tender and soft. I prefer grating the butter because it is really well incorporated in there. And then this is a half a stick of butter. It's a good amount. Melted it completely. I end up like just pouring it over and brushing it over. It's a lot easier. And as I was mentioning, I don't follow the recommendations, the measurements for the filling, because the first time when I did it, I literally just sprinkled the cinnamon on top until the butter, like it was dry because it was all absorbed by the butter and couldn't be absorbed anymore. So that's how much cinnamon I put. You'll see it's not like completely like dry topping, But you'll see, I literally just pour it. It's dark, it's spread out everywhere. And then I just crumble a bunch of sugar on top and press it in. I was trying to even out the corners so that way it rolls really nicely. These turned out really nice. It's the same recipe that I did for the last one, except I cut that into 16 pieces and I didn't let it do a second rise. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just stuck it in the oven. So I'm sure it would have turned out better if I let it rise like I did for this one. I counted time for that. So anyway, back to what I'm actually doing. Just sprinkling the cinnamon dead on. I got really worried because it was like not coming out as easily as the first time. And then it came out a lot right there. So I was scared that it was cumin or cumin, however you pronounce it, because Sam's Club has the bottle, the same exact bottle, and it just says cumin and it looks exactly like the cinnamon. And I'm pretty sure I've accidentally done that where I put in cinnamon instead of cumin. I definitely don't want to put in cumin instead of cinnamon for this. So yeah, you can see it's like some parts are still like looking dark because the butter it's getting absorbed into the butter. But I just did it until it was no longer being absorbed, so it's basically like a layer on top, dry cinnamon, whatever. I like to do it all the way out to the edges of 3 sides, and then one long side I will leave an inch or 2 out so that when I roll it, that's like the outer swirl and it helps stick to itself better, like roll up better. Yeah, and then I just take a bunch of brown sugar and pat it and kind of swipe it over. This time I definitely put in a lot more cinnamon than last time because it had more like dry patches. So it was kind of making cinnamon sugar on top and like spreading in a different way. But whatever. I just pat it in to every corner. I try to keep it like lengthwise, like long rows of it, because like if I do a column, I don't know, if I like make it even only the way that I'm doing it now, it's only going to be in a few rolls. But if I make it like lengthwise even, it'll be like a part of the swirl has a bunch of sugar and maybe the rest of it doesn't, but it's the same throughout all the rolls. I don't know if any of that made sense, but it makes sense in my head. So that's why I'm trying to focus on making it even lengthwise. And it's okay if it has skips in between, whatever. Just make it as even as you can. Yeah, this was a lot of sugar too, but I felt like it wasn't enough, maybe because I put a lot of cinnamon. I'm just rambling. This was very good. Measure with your heart. And yeah. Now we're getting to the rolling. It's very simple. Since it's not a super sticky dough, it's very easy to just roll over. It didn't get stuck on the countertop at all. I very loosely fold it because I want it to have room to fluff up. Yeah, and once it gets to the end there, it like sticks onto itself really well. And I cut it in half and then thirds, and then I have 12 pieces. And I don't know if I particularly tried to make it cut side down for the ends, but it didn't matter. Like, I did a pretty good job rolling it into an even rectangle. So yeah, I'm just spraying some ham onto my baking dish. I got a little nervous because, like, technically if I line it up 3 by 12, it's obviously not a square, it's a rectangle, so I was nervous about how they were going to turn out. But they fit. Some pieces were like fatter than others, like the middle part was fatter than the ends, but turned out amazing. My coworkers loved it. It was great. I'm probably gonna make this very often. Yeah, very excited. So yeah, it was pretty quick, cutting it, and it's very satisfying putting it all in the pan. I did do like the cut side up, that way it's nice and flat on the edge. Even though I did leave that space, it was because they weren't like jammed in there, like snugly fitting. The ends were kind of coming out, but I just rolled them over so that they were making contact with something and stayed nice and closed up. But yeah, you see how dark and cinnamony and sugary it is. Looks delicious. Was delicious. Yeah, so fit them all in there. Cleaned up the cinnamon. I actually put it on top. I don't know if I showed that, but the countertop was clean before I worked on it. And I just put it in the oven that was turned off with the light on for 40 minutes because that's just what I had timed out. So the oven's not on, it's just the light. I don't know if they really got puffed up, but I think it helped. And then I'm not even using the big oven. I'm using this little toaster oven that we have to cook it because I don't want to heat up the whole house or use all that energy. So I do 360 degrees Fahrenheit. I move the rack to the bottom so the top doesn't get too brown. There's not much space in there. I should have taken a better video of the actual oven. And I just threw it in there, enjoyed the sunrise, and I did rotate it halfway through just because I was sitting around, but usually I don't because I'm just gonna let it do its thing. Yeah, there's the sunrise, a little bit of snow still, very beautiful. So after 35 minutes, they were done and the house smelled amazing. This is actually leftover cream cheese frosting. It's the perfect cream cheese frosting that I found. I like it pretty tangy, so it's 1 block of cream cheese to a stick and a half of butter. Might even reduce it to just 1 stick of butter, unsalted butter. I really like the tanginess. Oh, look at those swirls. Delicious. So much cinnamon. It's kind of sliding there. Anyway, the one that I did, the one that's in that container that I am now heating up because it was in the fridge, is 1 block of 8 ounces of cream cheese, Philadelphia cream cheese, stick of butter, and 2 cups of powdered sugar. So it's like piping buttercream frosting, like the crumble cookie, confetti cookie, copycat. But I didn't feel like making more, even though I had the ingredients to make more. I decided to make this more of like a glaze, and I just added a random amount of milk. At first I thought it was too much, but once it actually got all mixed in, it was still thicker than I would like. So I ended up adding even more milk. And it covered this very well. So I don't know, maybe it's like 1.5 cups of the other frosting. I don't know, maybe like a third of the original recipe that I just gave you guys. If you guys like it like a thinner runny glaze rather than a thick cream cheese buttercream on top. And I found a giant bottle of imitation vanilla that I added. I thought I had, what is it called, just real vanilla, but I couldn't find it, so I had a giant bottle of imitation added to it. It did make it taste really good. Like it just makes it taste warmer, more, I don't know, holiday-y, even though it's not holiday, winter-y, cozy, just more cozy. I guess I'm just struggling looking for it now. Oh, there it is. Just did a little squirt. Mix it all in and poured it on top. final result, so beautiful, delicious, amazing. And they were still warm when I brought them to work. This is my lunch, kind of a jump scare compared to those cinnamon buns. But yeah, I might show my meal prep for my lunch next week. My dad usually cooks on the weekend, so I might have leftovers on Monday and I only have to meal prep for 4 days, which is what happened this week. And then here is the charcuterie board that my coworker made. Delicious, amazing, beautiful, like amazing. Yeah, and then work happened, blah blah blah, like whatever was there for like 8 hours, I don't know. Clock in, clock out. And then I went to the gym. I think I did 15 minutes on the elliptical, not the elliptical, the Stairmaster. It was really cool. I ended up doing, I think, exactly 50 levels. Is that how you measure it? I don't know if it shows it or not. Floors. Yeah, 18 minutes, 18 and a half. And then I did the hydro massage, of course. And now I'm just going to do my laundry, clean the kitchen, take a shower, go to sleep.